We're talking about 800 horsepower and 1,250 newton meters from one e-motor.
Imagine an engine so powerful, so incredibly advanced, that it sent shockwaves through the entire automotive industry, leaving titans like Tesla scrambling and even Elon Musk looking visibly shaken on live television. We're talking about a revelation. That came without warning, without massive marketing campaigns, just pure, unadulterated engineering chaos. In 2025, a company known for defying expectations, Koenigsegg, quietly dropped a hybrid system that fundamentally redefines what's possible. A hybrid with 2,300 horsepower, an electric motor so compact it could fit inside a backpack, and synthetic fuel that makes traditional gasoline look like a dirty relic of the past. Is this the definitive end of the electric revolution as we know it, or merely the electrifying moment it gets completely redefined? What Koenigsegg just unleashed will change the car world forever. And absolutely nobody saw it coming. To truly grasp the magnitude of Koenigsegg's breakthrough, we first need to understand how we got here. The EV revolution, for all its ambitious promises, has started to show unsettling cracks, issues that few in the industry are willing to openly discuss. Electric vehicles were championed as the ultimate saviors of our planet, destined to obliterate the combustion engine and transform how we move forever. Instead, what we've largely received are cars heavier than many pickup trucks, batteries, that voraciously consume rare earth minerals, and a driving experience that, for many enthusiasts, feels more like piloting a complex laptop than a visceral, responsive machine. So, what exactly happened? Why is the once unshakable electric vehicle hype beginning to fade? And what on earth did Koenigsegg build that could possibly make someone as famously confident as Elon Musk actually panic? It all began with a bold promise. When Tesla first rolled out the Roadster, it wasn't just a car, it was a defiant declaration of war. Electric vehicles, it shouted, could be blistering fast, eerily silent, and undeniably cool. Elon Musk wasn't merely selling vehicles. He was aggressively reshaping an entire industry with groundbreaking software, a revolutionary supercharger network, and audacious predictions that made legacy automakers appear almost overnight prehistoric. Tesla's ascent was nothing short of meteoric. The Model S single-handedly rewrote the rules on performance for sedans. The Model 3 successfully pushed electric vehicles into the mainstream. The Model X boldly redefined luxury SUVs. And the Cybertruck, whether you loved its radical design or passionately hated it, you simply could not ignore it. Behind Tesla's relentless rise was a monumental global momentum shift. Governments worldwide were enthusiastically on board. Europe, with a clear, ambitious vision, announced a continent-wide internal combustion engine ban by 2035. California, a trendsetter in automotive policy, quickly jumped in with its own aggressive phase-out timeline. China, the undisputed biggest auto market in the world, aggressively pushed local electric vehicle production with a powerful combination of subsidies and strict sales quotas. Major cities began outright banning diesel vehicles. Car companies, desperate to keep pace, scrambled. General Motors, a titan of American manufacturing, promised to go all electric by 2035. Volvo, Ford, Mercedes, they all announced aggressive timelines that, on paper, sounded like the dawn of a new golden age for the automobile. But behind the gleaming headlines, the reality of the EV revolution was proving to be far more complicated, far messier. Let's start with the persistent problem of range anxiety. Despite all the breathless hype, most electric vehicles still simply cannot travel as far as a conventional car on a full tank of gas, especially when you're pushing the limits, running the heat or air conditioning, or cruising at sustained highway speeds. Cold weather, your battery drains noticeably faster. Fast charging? Sure, it's an option, but it still often takes an inconvenient 20 to 30 minutes to hit 80%, and that's only if you're lucky enough to find an available charger that actually works. Then there's the battery itself, the very heart of the EV. To construct just one Tesla Model S battery pack, you need approximately 63 kilograms of lithium, plus significant quantities of cobalt, nickel, manganese, and graphite. These are materials that are often mined under notoriously harsh, environmentally polluting, or overtly exploitative conditions. disturbing reports have directly linked some cobalt mining, particularly in the Democratic Republic of Congo, to the abhorrent practice of child labor. Lithium extraction, meanwhile, is an intensely water-intensive process, environmentally devastating, especially in regions already battling severe drought. And those massive batteries, they're incredibly heavy. The average electric vehicle weighs hundreds of kilograms more than a comparable gasoline car. Heavier cars, by their very nature, wear out tires faster, put immense strain on critical brake components, and cause significantly more damage to public roads. Add to this the frustratingly limited recyclability of most current battery packs, and that once pristine green image of electric vehicles begins to look a little blurry, a little less convincing. But perhaps the most overlooked, and for many, the most crucial issue, is the intangible concept of the soul of the car. For all their instant torque and eerily quiet acceleration, many electric vehicles are starting to feel disconcertingly similar. Smooth, fast, silent, and ultimately forgettable. The driving experience is increasingly software-controlled, dampened, digitized, devoid of the raw, mechanical drama that once defined driving passion. There's no thrilling engine roar, no satisfying gear shift, no visceral feedback. For true performance enthusiasts, that irreplaceable thrill, the raw, connected feel of driving, is disturbingly absent. It's precisely why some discerning critics are now, with a growing sense of frustration, simply calling electric vehicles digital appliances on wheels. Even the competition that was supposed to vigorously challenge Tesla has largely followed the same predictable formula. Rimax? Hyper-electric vehicles are blisteringly fast, yes, but they remain heavy and complex. Lucid builds technologically rich sedans, but they struggle relentlessly with scale and software integration. Porsche's Taycan, while undeniably precise, is also weighed down by its colossal battery system. Everyone, it seems, is trapped on the same blueprint. Bigger battery, more range, sleeker user interface, different badge. Same fundamental idea. And that precisely is where Koenigsegg shatters the pattern. This isn't a company chasing fleeting market share. It's not trying to sell hundreds of thousands of cars, or even thousands. Koenigsegg is singularly obsessed with one thing: innovation. The kind of radical innovation that fundamentally doesn't care about industry trends, the kind that defiantly refuses to follow the herd. And while the rest of the automotive world was furiously busy trying to copy Tesla's playbook, Koenigsegg quietly, meticulously wrote their own. For years, they operated in near silence. No splashy major auto shows, no viral tweets generating instant buzz. Just a tiny, focused facility in Ängelholm, Sweden, relentlessly building hypercars that openly defied physics. The Agera RS didn't just beat speed records, it utterly embarrassed the competition. The Regera famously removed the gearbox entirely, a feat considered impossible by many. The Jesko rewrote the very limits of track performance. But no one, not even the most astute industry observer, expected what came next. A four-seater hybrid that could outrun a Bugatti, and an electric motor so compact, so incredibly powerful, that it could fundamentally change how electric propulsion is defined. That motor, and the revolutionary engine it's paired with, is the definitive reason Elon Musk might finally have something genuinely significant to worry about. The moment everything irrevocably changed came in 2025. Koenigsegg did something truly unprecedented, something no one in the tightly controlled automotive world saw coming. No grand press release, no slick teaser video, just a brutal, clinical, and utterly world-shifting reveal that left seasoned engineers stunned and powerful rivals scrambling to comprehend. In one single audacious move, Christian von Koenigsegg unveiled not one, but two machines so incredibly advanced they made Tesla's entire drivetrain strategy look like a half step from the technological past. First, a synthetic-fueled combustion engine that doesn't pollute like traditional gas guzzlers. And second, an electric motor so unbelievably compact, so incredibly powerful, and so profoundly efficient that it instantly rendered the entire industry's obsessive focus on merely stacking more batteries look completely obsolete. The world watched, breath held. Elon Musk blinked. So, what exactly did Koenigsegg do? And why did one of the most confident tech CEOs on Earth suddenly appear as if someone had brutally pulled the rug out from under him? First, let's talk about the dark matter motor. That's what Koenigsegg is calling their astonishing new in-house. electric motor, and that name isn't just for dramatic effect. It perfectly hints at what this thing embodies. It's dense, mysterious, unbelievably compact, and utterly unlike anything else on the road. This motor weighs under 40 kilograms, less than the average packed suitcase. Yet, it generates an astounding 800 horsepower and an unbelievable 1,250 newton-meters of torque. For startling reference, Tesla's dual-motor setup in the Model S Plaid utilizes two larger, heavier units to hit similar torque levels. Koenigsegg just achieved it with one. And it's not just the raw numbers, it's the profound science behind it. The dark matter motor employs what Koenigsegg calls a axial flux design. This is a groundbreaking combination of both radial and axial flux motors, two distinct types typically utilized in entirely different engineering contexts. Radial flux motors are common in most EVs, efficient, familiar, and relatively straightforward to produce. Axial flux motors, on the other hand, are renowned for being incredibly power-dense but historically difficult to scale for commercial use. Koenigsegg didn't just pick one, they boldly fused both into a highly innovative six-phase architecture. This means power is distributed far more evenly, heat is managed significantly better, and performance remains astonishingly consistent across all imaginable driving conditions. So, just how small is this thing really? Christian von Koenigsegg literally held it in his arms at the factory reveal, showcasing its astonishingly compact size, about the size of a carry-on backpack. Yet, this tiny marvel delivers more torque than the entire drivetrain of most full-size SUVs. And unlike complex multi-motor setups that demand intricate software to manage how torque is split between wheels, the dark matter motor ingeniously simplifies everything. It's a single, cohesive unit with real-time power response, connected directly to Koenigsegg's own custom torque converter and inverter system. Fewer parts mean fewer points of failure, and absolutely no wasted energy delivery. The implications are massive. It means electric vehicles no longer need to be gargantuan to be powerful. They don't need to carry 3 motors to achieve advanced torque vectoring. Koenigsegg has already rigorously tested this motor as part of a new production spec Jesko, and the results are frankly absurd. Not only is it lighter and simpler than the old 3-motor hybrid system, but it performs demonstrably better in every metric. So then, you might logically ask, if this electric motor is so utterly incredible, why not just go all in on it? Why bother pairing it with a combustion engine at all? Because the second part of Koenigsegg's mind-bending reveal changes the entire game just as profoundly. A quad-turbocharged combustion engine that runs on synthetic e-fuel, produces near-zero net emissions, and delivers over 1,500 horsepower. On its own, let's be crystal clear. This is not some lazily reworked V8 from an old project. This is a brand new block, a revolutionary new valve system, a completely reimagined turbo architecture, all built meticulously in-house. It was designed from scratch, from the very first blueprint, to run incredibly clean, burn remarkably hot, rev astonishingly high, and integrate flawlessly with cutting-edge hybrid electric technology. Synthetic e-fuel, in simplest terms, is a liquid fuel created by combining captured carbon dioxide with hydrogen. When it burns, it releases the exact same amount of carbon dioxide that was originally used to make it. So the net emissions are, theoretically, completely neutral. While other premium brands like Porsche are cautiously experimenting with similar fuels, Koenigsegg is light years ahead of the curve. This engine doesn't need to be adapted for e-fuel. It was born for it. And when paired with the astonishing dark matter motor, the result is a hybrid system that produces a combined, mind-blowing 2,300 horsepower and an unbelievable 2,750 newton-meters of torque. Those aren't theoretical numbers whispered in a concept lab. That's what the production-ready version of the updated Jesko can now deliver. Think about what that truly means. A 4-seater Grand Tourer, complete with cup holders, infotainment, screens, and actual luggage space that can out-accelerate a Bugatti Chiron. And it achieves this without relying on a massive, heavy, range-limiting battery pack. No more range anxiety, no more inconvenient 30-minute fast charge dependency, no more contentious lithium supply chain issues. That alone would have dominated headlines for weeks. But what truly stunned the industry? What truly sent a ripple of unease through boardrooms was how quietly Koenigsegg dropped this colossal breakthrough. No lavish launch event, no multi-day press preview, no drawn-out teaser campaign with agonizing countdown timers. They simply updated the Jesko's spec sheet, released a few cryptic statements, and let the sheer audacity of the engineering do all the talking. And the moment technical details started to circulate, especially among discerning EV specialists and skeptical automotive journalists, the buzz became impossible to ignore, transforming into a roar. This seismic shift also blows open entirely new design possibilities. Smaller, lighter motors directly translate to less overall vehicle weight. Less weight means profoundly better chassis balance, leading to tighter, more responsive handling, dramatically less tire wear, and significantly improved efficiency across the board. It's a cascading chain reaction of advantages, something that is incredibly difficult to achieve when you're locked into a traditional, battery-heavy architectural blueprint. And then there's the synthetic combustion engine. Most performance brands have either reluctantly abandoned the internal combustion engine altogether or grudgingly kept it around in legacy models, almost as an afterthought. Koenigsegg, meanwhile, just audaciously introduced a brand new quad-turbocharged V8, built entirely in-house, designed from day one to run exclusively on synthetic fuels. This engine isn't just powerful, it's remarkably clean. When running on e-fuels synthesized from captured carbon and green hydrogen, it delivers its immense power with near-zero net emissions. This fundamentally matters because it completely reframes the entire sustainability conversation. For years, battery electrics have been relentlessly positioned as the only viable path forward, but they undeniably come with significant trade-offs, as we've discussed. Now, Koenigsegg's groundbreaking setup offers a different, compelling route, one that ingeniously uses lightweight hybrids, advanced combustion, and genuinely sustainable fuels to forge a more flexible, more adaptable, and ultimately more holistic future for automotive propulsion. It's also crucial to note how incredibly few companies could have ever pulled this off. Koenigsegg isn't part of a vast, anonymous automotive group. From the intricate carbon fiber layups to the complex 3D-printed titanium exhausts, absolutely everything is meticulously designed, engineered, and built internally. That unparalleled vertical control allows them to move with blistering speed, take calculated risks, and implement truly cutting-edge ideas without the agonizing, bureaucratic external approval loops that cripple larger corporations. It's not just a different drivetrain, it's a completely different philosophical approach to building cars. And the impact was immediate, resounding across engineering forums, performance blogs, and even in the hushed internal circles at larger original equipment manufacturers, OEMs. Discussions began shifting, openly questioning the established norms. Why are we still relying on heavy, dual-motor setups with diminishing gains? Why are we hauling around monstrous battery packs that weigh as much as entire engines? Why hasn't anyone else seriously attempted a scalable e-fuel hybrid? Even publications that have been vehemently all in on battery electric, advocacy had to grudgingly admit, this is something fundamentally different. Koenigsegg didn't just create a better engine, they brutally exposed a profound weakness in the current industry playbook, a glaring lack of imagination, a stubborn refusal to explore genuine alternatives simply because the industry had already committed billions to one singular dominant solution. But as 2025 unfolds, it's becoming increasingly difficult, even impossible, to ignore the seismic shift that just occurred. A four-seater that outguns hypercars, a motor the size of a backpack, an engine that burns clean and revs incredibly high, all from a factory with fewer employees than some car brands have marketing staff. What makes Koenigsegg so fundamentally different? It's their sheer, unadulterated engineering brilliance. Nobody else, absolutely nobody, can simply copy what they're doing. Koenigsegg doesn't just build cars, it builds an entirely different way of thinking about machines. That truly is their secret sauce. The company excels at designing machines without the usual, suffocating constraints that inevitably slow everyone else down. No legacy systems to uphold, no painful compromises forced by mass production, no agonizing waits for a supplier to ship a part 6 months late. Every single component they can control, they do. Every shortcut that lesser manufacturers would readily take, they meticulously avoid. And that, unequivocally, is why Tesla, Bugatti, Ferrari, none of them, can copy what Koenigsegg is doing. Because Koenigsegg doesn't play by the same rules. They write their own. Let's delve deeper into some of Koenigsegg's specific, revolutionary technologies that underpin this unparalleled approach. Take their free valve technology. Most internal combustion engines today utilize a complex system of camshafts and belts to open and close valves at rigidly set intervals. It's mechanical, predictable, and fundamentally limited. Koenigsegg, with characteristic audacity, completely replaced that entire system with an intricate network of pneumatic, hydraulic, and electronic actuators. Instead of being locked into one fixed pattern, each individual valve is controlled independently in real time by sophisticated software. This means the engine can instantly switch from full, devastating power to ultra-efficient mode on the fly. It can shut down cylinders mid-drive. It can open a valve early, close it late, or even skip an entire cycle, all depending precisely on what the driver or current conditions demand. No camshaft means fewer moving parts, less friction, and unparalleled flexibility. It's like giving the engine its own super intelligent brain. And here's the kicker. While massive automotive conglomerates are still merely experimenting with variable valve control, Koenigsegg has been flawlessly using free valve in their road cars for years. Then, there's the Regera's direct drive system. In a traditional car, you're stuck with a gearbox, a complex, heavy mechanism with multiple gears, leading to more complexity, more weight, and inherent inefficiency. Koenigsegg famously asked, "What if we simply skip all that?" The Regera doesn't have a traditional gearbox at all. Instead, it employs a revolutionary hydraulic coupling that connects the engine directly to the wheels, assisted by electric motors. The astonishing result: seamless acceleration, no gear shifts, no interruptions, instant exhilarating power delivery, and significantly fewer parts to fail. It's a solution so radical that many esteemed engineers initially thought it couldn't possibly work in a production car. Koenigsegg, with quiet determination, proved them spectacularly wrong. But they didn't stop there. The light speed transmission, LST, is their latest answer to the age-old problem of balancing lightning-fast shifts with critically low weight. Most high-performance transmissions rely on dual clutch systems. They're fast, yes, but also notoriously heavy and complicated. The LST, by contrast, uses an ingenious system of multi-clutches arranged in a remarkably clever way, allowing gear shifts to happen in virtually zero time. Imagine shifting from third to sixth gear, skipping fourth and fifth without any perceptible pause. That's what this transmission can do. It's lighter than a traditional DCT, it responds faster, and it works in perfect harmony with the rest of the car's systems to deliver that signature Koenigsegg control and visceral feel. This relentless philosophy of perfection extends to every single part of the car. They don't outsource carbon fiber production. They weave it in-house, meticulously controlling the weave pattern, the resin, the curing process. Why? Because even a marginal improvement in strength or weight can translate to a demonstrably better performing car. They don't buy titanium exhaust tips off the shelf. They built their own three-dimensional printer to print them in titanium, ensuring absolute precision and optimization. And these aren't mere gimmicks. Every single decision, every agonizing design choice is meticulously tied back to performance, efficiency, or control. If it doesn't make the car unequivocally better, it simply doesn't go in. This, precisely, is why Tesla cannot replicate what Koenigsegg is doing. Tesla is fundamentally a mass-market company. They need to build hundreds of thousands, even millions of cars annually. That necessitates heavy reliance on vast supply chains. That demands extreme standardization of parts. That compels them to make decisions primarily based on cost per unit. Their absolute priority is scale, not bespoke perfection. Their innovation primarily occurs in software, in manufacturing techniques, in intricate battery management systems. And that's perfectly fine for what they're building, but it's a fundamentally different goal. Koenigsegg isn't trying to scale. They're trying to discover just how far the envelope of automotive engineering can be pushed when you courageously remove the usual crippling barriers. That's why their technology feels artisanal, painstakingly hand-built, even though it's deeply rooted in cutting-edge engineering. It's hand-built performance at a level that is simply impossible when you're producing vehicles by the hundreds of thousands. And this brings us back full circle to the revolutionary dark matter motor. Koenigsegg's engineers looked at the prevailing state of electric propulsion and audaciously asked, why do we need 3 motors to achieve what one could do if designed differently? Traditional electric motors universally employ a 3-phase system. It's been the unquestioned standard for decades. Koenigsegg boldly broke from that with a 6-phase axial flux design. This means they ingeniously combined radial and axial flux architectures, 2 very different ways of arranging magnetic fields, into one incredibly compact, potent package. The stunning result: more torque delivered more efficiently with significantly less heat buildup. And because the motor is so impossibly small, it opens up packaging possibilities that no one else has even dreamed of. The dark matter motor isn't just smaller, it's infinitely smarter. It works seamlessly with Koenigsegg's custom torque converter and inverter, drastically reducing energy loss. It doesn't even need additional motors for torque vectoring. It can control torque distribution internally. Fewer parts, less weight, less complexity. And because it's paired with Koenigsegg's unique hybrid system, it paradoxically enhances the driving feel rather than muting it. That's a pervasive struggle many electric cars grapple with. Sure, they're fast, but fast isn't synonymous with alive. The dark matter motor delivers torque instantly, but in a way that feels utterly connected, profoundly natural, not artificial or sterile. And then you add the groundbreaking new synthetic fuel combustion engine. Unlike traditional engines, this one is specifically designed from the ground up to run on synthetic fuels created from captured carbon dioxide and renewable energy. That means it can achieve near zero net emissions without relying on environmentally problematic lithium, cobalt, or nickel. It completely sidesteps the entire battery mining issue. And crucially, it preserves the visceral, emotional qualities that make combustion engines so special. The intoxicating sound, the thrilling vibration, the immediate, raw responsiveness. This engine isn't about clinging to nostalgia, it's about profoundly proving that combustion can still evolve, can still thrive, if we bravely rethink what fuels it. Together, these pioneering technologies form a system that doesn't just challenge existing electric cars, it fundamentally questions the very assumptions they're built on. Do we need bigger batteries? Do we need heavier vehicles? Do we have to accept range anxiety or agonizingly long charging times? Or dulled, sterile driving dynamics? Koenigsegg's resounding answer is an emphatic no. There's another way. A revolutionary way that seamlessly blends the absolute best of combustion and electric power without inheriting the crippling downsides of either. And here's the billion-dollar question. If Koenigsegg can achieve this in a tiny factory with a limited, highly specialized team, what does it truly say about the lumbering giants of the industry? Why haven't they tried? Or have they simply become too rigidly locked into their own colossal systems to pivot, to truly innovate? Koenigsegg's audacious approach is a direct challenge not just to Tesla, but to every single automaker that has chosen the path of least resistance, the path of predictable, incremental evolution. It's a powerful, undeniable reminder that sometimes the only way forward is to courageously throw out the old rulebook entirely. So what happens now? Is this then the beginning of the end for electric cars as we've come to know them? Right now, the rest of the automotive industry is watching Koenigsegg with a complex mix of profound admiration and crippling anxiety. Because here's the unvarnished truth. If Koenigsegg's approach proves itself in the broader market, if combining a compact, ultra-efficient electric motor with a lightweight, low-emission synthetic fuel engine genuinely delivers better real-world performance, superior range, true sustainability, and unadulterated driving fun, then the entire big battery model, the very foundation of the current EV revolution, starts to look clunky, outdated, perhaps even unsustainable. Think about it. Tesla's top vehicles rely on massive, heavy battery packs, weighing hundreds of kilograms, to achieve their famous range and blistering acceleration. Those batteries add immense cost, crippling complexity, and undeniable environmental baggage. Koenigsegg, with a stroke of genius, simply skipped past that fundamental problem. By brilliantly blending a high-output hybrid system with a motor that needs fewer parts, less cooling, and no controversial rare earth magnets, they've engineered something nobody else has even conceptualized: the automotive industry's dirty. Little secret is that electric cars aren't as universally clean, as unequivocally green, as the pervasive marketing aggressively suggests. Yes, they boast zero tailpipe emissions, that's undeniable. But their batteries require the intensive mining of lithium, cobalt, and nickel, often from environmentally fragile regions and, as we've seen, sometimes under reprehensible, unethical labor conditions. Manufacturing those batteries consumes enormous amounts of energy. And controversially, recycling them is still largely inefficient and prohibitively expensive. By stark contrast, synthetic fuels offer a profoundly different, potentially more, holistic path. Made by combining captured carbon dioxide with green hydrogen, they are, in theory, carbon neutral because they ingeniously reuse carbon that is already present in the atmosphere. Porsche has already invested heavily in synthetic fuels. Saudi Arabia, a global energy giant, is building pilot plants. The European Union has even begun seriously debating carving out specific synthetic fuel exceptions in their ambitious 2035 combustion engine ban. In other words, Koenigsegg isn't alone in courageously betting that synthetic fuels represent a significant, undeniable future. But here's what truly sets Koenigsegg apart. They didn't just bolt a synthetic fuel engine onto an old existing platform. They designed a completely new, revolutionary powertrain from the ground up, specifically to take maximum advantage of synthetic fuel's unique properties. Their engine isn't a recycled V8 from a past model, it's quad-turbocharged meticulously, built with exotic alloys for extreme heat tolerance and painstakingly optimized for rapid, clean combustion. It's paired seamlessly with the dark matter motor, creating a system that is both brutally powerful and incredibly adaptable. 2,300 horsepower in a four-seater Grand Tourer isn't just headline-grabbing, it's irrefutable proof that hybridization doesn't have to mean compromise, doesn't have to mean sacrificing excitement for efficiency. The biggest question now is, can anyone else possibly catch up? Because Koenigsegg's innovations weren't bought off a shelf. Their carbon fiber isn't subcontracted, their titanium parts aren't outsourced, their software isn't licensed from some third party. Every single element is either meticulously developed in-house or so uniquely customized that replicating it would demand starting from absolute zero. Most automakers are simply not structured, culturally or financially, to operate that way. Tesla's model depends entirely on scale, on building hundreds of thousands of vehicles per factory. Their engineering philosophy relentlessly prioritizes reducing complexity for seamless mass production. Koenigsegg's engineering philosophy, however, audaciously embraces complexity to achieve absolute purity, knowing full well they will only build a few dozen or, at most, 100 cars per year. And this brutal truth raises a painful, existential dilemma for large automakers. Innovation doesn't always scale cleanly or easily. Tesla can't simply shrink its vast global supply chains overnight. Ford can't realistically retool its colossal factories next year to mass-produce ultra-lightweight six-phase motors. General Motors can't abandon its multi-billion-dollar Ultium battery platform midstream without catastrophic losses. These companies have invested untold billions in one definitive direction. Koenigsegg, with quiet genius, went another way entirely. That's why, even if big automakers were to pivot toward hybrid systems or synthetic fuels tomorrow, Koenigsegg will possess a multi-year lead, not just in patents or prototypes, but in the invaluable institutional knowledge of precisely how to make such complex systems work together as a single, cohesive, breathtaking machine. Meanwhile, public perception is subtly but powerfully shifting. A new generation of car buyers doesn't just want silent, sterile transportation. They demand an experience. They yearn for machines that feel undeniably alive. They crave the mechanical drama, the visceral engagement that electric cars have largely erased. That's why Koenigsegg's unexpected reveal hit harder, resonated deeper than any dry technical spec sheet could. It wasn't just look at these numbers. It was a profound philosophical statement. Look at this philosophy, a car that outruns a Bugatti Chiron while comfortably seating 4 adults and carrying luggage. A hybrid that doesn't feel clumsily patched together, but utterly integrated from the ground up. a powertrain that somehow cleans the air it uses while delivering raw, unadulterated joy. It wasn't marketed as a rebellion, but that's precisely how it felt, and how the industry is perceiving it. Tesla now faces an unprecedented dilemma. Elon Musk's audacious, seemingly unbeatable bet on pure batteries and software looked like a sure thing just 5 years ago. But if Koenigsegg's groundbreaking hybrid formula proves adaptable, proves to be a viable, compelling path forward, Musk's aggressively pure electric roadmap could suddenly seem alarmingly narrow, even dangerously constrained. Tesla's relentless focus on large format batteries, heavy skateboard platforms, and software-controlled acceleration makes perfect sense in a purely electric ecosystem. But if the future unexpectedly veers hybrid again, if synthetic fuels gain critical political and economic momentum, Tesla might abruptly find itself locked into an infrastructure that is no longer a competitive advantage, but a debilitating liability. Musk, of course, could pivot. He's done it before. But pivoting on this scale means acknowledging, fundamentally, that the sole path forward isn't purely electric. And what precisely is Musk's next move? After Koenigsegg's stunning announcement, he posted a single cryptic tweet: "Physics is the ultimate arbiter." Fans, predictably, read it as defiance, a confident dismissal. Critics, more cynically, read it as deflection. But industry insiders, the true experts, read it as profound uncertainty, a crack in the veneer of invincibility. Behind closed doors, some Tesla engineers reportedly expressed a chilling frustration. Koenigsegg's sheer packaging efficiency with the dark matter motor had forced an unavoidable, painful rethink. How could a boutique company operating on a minuscule scale achieve demonstrably better torque density, vastly lower thermal loss, and tighter integration than a global leader in electric motors with all its massive resources? Some within Tesla argued, perhaps defensively, that Koenigsegg's technology simply couldn't scale. Others, more pragmatically, warned that perhaps scale might no longer be the sole or even the primary metric of success. If synthetic fuels become cheaper, if policy unequivocally allows low-volume combustion cars running on carbon-neutral fuel, if lightweight hybrid systems consistently outperform heavy battery setups in real-world use, then mass production might abruptly stop being the ultimate measure of success. And in that brave new world, Koenigsegg's radical approach isn't an outlier. It's a glimpse of a parallel future, a powerful alternative that doesn't have to blindly follow the electric-only route. Christian von Koenigsegg's overarching strategy is deceptively simple, yet utterly brilliant. Stay small, stay weird, stay ahead. He doesn't care about unit volume. He doesn't chase ephemeral software-based driver experiences. He absolutely refuses to dilute engineering purity for the sake of market share. Every single Koenigsegg project relentlessly prioritizes balance, breathtaking beauty, and raw, visceral brutality in equal measure. Not just how fast it goes, but how it feels when it goes fast. Not just how sustainable it is, but how profoundly joyful it is to drive. And that truly is a challenge most automakers didn't see coming, because it fundamentally questions whether green has to inherently mean boring. The provocative question at the very heart of all this is startlingly simple. If Koenigsegg can build a four-seater that outruns a Bugatti Chiron, utilizes carbon-neutral fuel, and fits its entire electric propulsion system into something the Gia size of a backpack, what excuse do the rest of the automotive giants have? Why are we still told, almost as dogma, that electric cars must be heavy, that they must be dull, that sustainability relentlessly requires sacrificing excitement and passion? Koenigsegg's monumental announcement doesn't spell the end of electric vehicles as a category, but it powerfully signals the absolute end of their perceived inevitability. For years, the narrative was clear, almost predestined. Combustion was dying, batteries were unequivocally rising, and software would define the automotive future. Now, the future feels far more open, infinitely more complicated, and undeniably, profoundly more interesting. Koenigsegg didn't just disrupt a product category, they fundamentally disrupted an entire assumption. In 2025, we are witnessing the definitive beginning of a split in the road. One path continues chasing bigger batteries, more range, and ever more software. The other path courageously asks, how much can we truly achieve with less? Less weight, less complexity, less dependence on fragile, contentious supply chains. And maybe, just maybe, more fun, more beauty, more balance. And that ultimately is the enduring legacy of Koenigsegg's dark matter motor and their new hybrid engine. Not just impressive numbers, not just groundbreaking specs, but a profound, challenging provocation to the entire industry. We don't have to choose between performance, sustainability, and joy. We can, in fact, have all three, if we're willing, to think profoundly differently, to dare to defy the status quo. So, where does that leave Tesla, the undisputed pioneer of the electric revolution? That truly is the billion-dollar question. Elon Musk can adapt. He's pivoted before, with remarkable success. But pivots of this magnitude take time, immense resources, and perhaps a willingness to admit that the initial vision wasn't the only path. And Koenigsegg didn't just pivot, they reinvented. The next few years will show whether Tesla doubles down on the old electric formula, or whether they're finally willing to follow the visionary lead of a tiny Swedish company that quietly, decisively rewrote the rules for everyone. And if they don't, then perhaps, just perhaps, the future of driving might ultimately belong to the rebels after all.